Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Monday evening to you all. Hope you're all right. Hope you are all okay. And the week has treated you so far as good as it possibly could. But in this video, we are talking about the breaking news that came out late last night, maybe even early this morning, surrounding Spurs and their move for Manchester City winger Savinho. Spurs with a move actually rejected a bit by City. You'll see what I mean when I get to it. We'll be talking about Spurs' sort of next steps, maybe post Savinho as well. We're doing the PSG preview for the UEFA Super Cup. That is obviously in 2 nights' time, as well as that. Yes, it's a weird one, the Savinho move. I won't lie, it's a weird one, but look, Romano and Ornstein have both said this, so you know it's legit. But Ornstein earlier today saying that Tottenham are in talks with Manchester City to sign Savinho. Man City not actively wanting to sell, but a 50 million euro deal is being discussed. The 21-year-old is open to the Tottenham move, and Guardiola tends not to block players when they want out. And I thought that was fascinating. First and foremost, on the fee itself, 45 million euros. You know, I even quote tweeted this and I said there has to be a catch. Every deal is inflated and crazy overpriced. This being 50 million euros when most expected 70 million euros and up is shocking. And I do sort of look at this deal and you know, there's obviously a few question marks in this deal. You know, I think a lot of people are very pro Mohamed Kudus, and this is sort of similar, I guess, in that regard. You know, obviously, I know Savinho, numbers-wise, had a better output last season, but in terms of finishing, really struggled in front of goal last year. Only 1 goal in all competitions. I think the worst conversion rate in the top 5 leagues. He beats his man, and obviously, I know a lot of Spurs fans just want wingers to be able to beat their man, but there is that concern. Obviously, 10 assists, you're never going to knock that. But, he's dealing with an alien up front in Erling Haaland. And, how does it look with, Solanke and Richarlison and Tell? And that's not a slight at any of those players. I've sort of, in the last few days, been really, really wound up with the amount of Spurs fans that seem to just target our own players again. I mean, we've not even played a game, and player X is crap, player Y is crap, and player Z is even worse than that. And I just don't really get on board with that. I've seen people trashing Ange today, and it's like, Ange has been gone months. Can we just live in the present, move on, back Thomas Frank, back the players that are there now? Son is gone. We have to move on with that idea, So Savinho, I don't know if is the long-term Son replacement, but he definitely is going to add more to that winger area. Obviously, it feels like Tell will kind of get used a little bit like a striker, if I'm honest, this season. Do you know what? It's the more that I think about those attacking areas, and the more we have obviously stylistically different players, and what does it really truly look like when everyone's fit? Obviously, you still got Kulusevski. It's going to come back into that, and obviously matters that towards the end of the season will be coming back into that. How does it look with not Doku? We're not Man City. How does it look with Kudus and Savinho and Solanke and Richie and Tell and Odebear and all that? I expect there to be departures in the attack. I do. I can't see how there's not going to be departures in the attack. Bringing in Kudus and bringing in Savinho. Obviously, I know Son has left. That's massive in that regard, but I think there's going to be more. Even Spurs, Janice, Carl, John, how are we all? They only paid a small fee towards Girona for him, didn't they? So it's massive for their financial fair play, but it looks like it's going to open them up to moving for Rodrigo from Real Madrid, as long as Rodrigo wants to leave. Obviously, they're moving off of Grealish. He's off to Everton. James McAtee looks like he's going off to Forest. That's a good move for Forest, a good player, and it's a cheap-ish deal. City's just having a bit of a clear out. They do every couple of years. They have a bit of a clear out, freshen it up. The Savinho one is a bit different. A lot of Man City fans are quite annoyed by this, if I'm honest. I don't foresee the deal being around 45 million. There's talk, like I said, about 50 million euros. I think that's going to be closer to 70 million euros. I think the deal will be something about 60 to 65 million pounds. And that might include the add-ons and things like that, right? But Alistair Gold was tweeting about it, saying that the Savinho talks are at an early stage. But if Spurs could get it done, he'd be a very exciting addition. One of those opportunities you just have to go for. But also he and Kudus prefer playing on the right, as does Johnson. So we need to be need to be a compromise, and they still need a 10. He did go on and say, should point out, I said prefer on the right rather than doesn't play on the left. Apparently people are getting upset in his mentions about it. He's played a lot on the left, by the way. He can play left and right wing. Don't think he can't. Same can Kudus. He says about the attacking options, all very versatile, exciting players, which helps either way and gives Frank more options. Kudus has played plenty as a dribbling, mobile number 10 and enjoys playing there as well. Spurs still need a creative playmaking number 10, though, in my opinion. And as reported, Frank also wants a centre-back. So there you go. A little bit more of an update into what maybe is coming as well this summer. The Spurs are still looking at centre-back. I think that will entail Vuskovic is going out on loan. So I think they look at it and go, we'd rather Vuskovic get another season of first-team football, playing week in, week out, and then he's ready. Because there is a conversation to have next summer if Romero's not signed a new deal. I mean, there's conversation right now that Donnarumma is going to get sold by PSG because he won't sign a new deal. There's other players that aren't signing new deals, and their players are going to be moved off from their clubs, and they're quite big names. And Romero may be that, and Vuskovic may be the guy to replace him. He may not be. Maybe Big Kev Danso is the guy to replace him. I don't know. I'm not saying he is or isn't before someone tries to clip that and make a big deal of it. There is that situation where a year out on loan, first team football in maybe the Bundesliga for a solid team, he come back and be, much better than he would if he had sat on the bench this season at Spurs. Hansi, how are you? Savinho, Eze and Gueye would be awesome. Savinho and another 10. I'm going to talk about 10 in a minute. Joey says Savinho and Paz should be good enough to stabilise and carry our midfield. We do need a wing back and a CDM, though. Well, Joey, you've got your Paulinho, but no, so you're not getting a CDM. You've got Paulinho. Palace missed out on the Europa League. Well, they did, but Palace did win yesterday. Great result for them yesterday, winning on penalties versus Liverpool. Great result. That's all I can really say about it, to be honest. But no, looking a little bit more into Spurs and what maybe is coming. Tom Olnut for the Times has said that Spurs have held talks over Savinho. They also want to sign a creative midfielder by the end of the transfer window. That's fascinating for me. Super, super fascinating that Spurs still want to sign a number 10. There is the Eze links. There has been contact. We know that. Obviously, we also know that Arsenal are very much a big player in the Eze market. There has been the Nico Paz conversations, but I just feel like Real Madrid, I don't know if Real Madrid would let that happen. I feel like they'd come back and get him before that happens. I know they have a big sell-on fee. I know that, but I just feel like that's what they would do. There's also, McAtee was one we're interested in. Grealish was another. They've both gone. So the names we're being linked to are being whittled down. But then the same thing with Savinho. No one saw that link coming, and there is the bid rejected, and it's definitely something. So yeah, we'll have to sort of see, really, because I think there may be more in the background that we're all not seeing, like Savinho, and I think that makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense. Just to give, I forgot to say, Mikey Moore signed a new long-term contract at Spurs because it's his 18th birthday, so he signed himself a new long-term deal. Obviously, still at Rangers, we know that. But yeah, on Rodrigo, Man City are considering a move for Rodrigo after imminent exits. Grealish, McAtee, and Savinho, and City see Rodrigo as a dream target. Guardiola's a big fan, so we know that. This is all playing in. It's a bit of a Man City day, even though we're a Spurs page, but you get what I mean. Romano added a little bit more to the Savinho story. He said the first proposal was already sent by Spurs worth 50 million euros and Man City want more. Negotiations are ongoing with City, open to selling Savinho as he's keen on the move, but only at their condition. The deal is absolutely on. Super talented. I mean, 37 games playing in La Liga, 9 goals, 10 assists. I mean, we're talking a goal contribution every other game. 10 assists in the Premier League, one every three last season. Nothing to sniff at. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, he's a world beater, because that would be hypocritical of myself to not rate the Kudus move in terms of value, but rate Savinho. The only difference is Savinho is 21 and he's 22, and I think it's April that he's 22. So, very young, having some Prem experience, playing for a good team like City. The raw talent, the raw ability to grow and grow and go really is there on show. So you would think it's going to happen. Afternoon, less known. How are we? Remember when we had Archie and Davies playing centre back together? I don't like to think of that time, mate. I don't like to think of it. Big up, Andy. Just seen recent news. We're back in for Eze. It was from the Mail. I knew that was a few days ago. I don't know if there's more that maybe I've missed. I'll have a quick look. No, I don't think there's anything new that I can see. No. Even Sonia, how are you? No, look, so that's on Savinho. I think more's coming from this, to be honest. On Eze, Arsenal still maintain a hunt for Eze. It still says Arsenal interested in bringing in Eze. He's been long linked. Obviously, we know that. It says it'll be a tough negotiation for Arsenal if they want to sign Eze before this weekend's Premier League fixtures. I don't see that being a situation, but it still feels like Arsenal are number one in there. Yeah, there's no real news on that side of things as much. But that's on Savinho. We'll keep an eye on Savinho. I mean, he's played as many games at left wing as he has right wing, and actually his output is better at left wing, which is quite interesting. 21 goal contributions for Girona, 21 and 41 for Girona in terms of goal contributions, 16 in 48, so one in every three for City. It's not outrageous, but it could be worse. So there you have it on Savinho. We're going to move a little bit on because I want to talk a little bit about the number 10 situation. Well, actually, sorry. Spurs are not looking for a left back. Just going to let that one sit. We're not looking for a left back. Oh, that one's hard to take in my soul. Right in there. Yeah, hard to take in my soul. Ben Davies is enough, apparently. Injury-prone Ben Davies. Not exactly an Iron Man in Destiny of Doggy. It's a tough one. It's a tough pill. It's a tough pill for me to swallow, this one, because we've needed left back for years alongside Destiny of Doggy, and can't seem to get one. Apparently, can't seem to get one. It's pain. It's pain. I'm going to move on because I'm going to wind myself up with that. By the way, a lot of people seem to think I was doom and gloom yesterday. I very much did a glass half full turn in the video. So if you think I was doom and gloom, I promise you I'm not. All right. Just felt a bit flat. There's nothing wrong with that. That's very normal in life to feel flat. If you think I should be 24/7, 100%, are sadly mistaken, because that's not possible. Glad to hear that, Sonia. I don't think we should send Vuskovic on loan. He needs proper games to develop, early stages of cups to start and come off the bench towards the middle and maybe start against the relegation 3. Yeah, but then it's the same thing. Could he start in the Bundesliga week in, week out, which is a great quality of football, a great standard of football? I'd rather that, We're going to talk about Donnarumma. Yeah. Thomas, how are you? Look, there's that on the number 10. That's fascinating, the number 10, because actually, if they are going to add in to the number 10, that could be phenomenal. Because I think what we've seen this pre-season with Madders and Kulu both missing, creativity really drops off. And, for everything that people say about Son did create opportunities, right? It may not be the exact ball in, it might be a pass to a guy making the cross or what have you, but he always was there being creative. We lose those three, and now it's like you need to be able to replace that. It's talking about 70, 80 goal contributions, between those three. We've lost that, which is massive. So, Kudus, well, let's hope that his output from last season was an anomaly and the season before is more like it. But again, it's 1 versus 1 on that. One's more recent. Let's hope it's the 2 seasons ago performance. That would be great. When it comes to players like Tell and Odebear, Johnson's output is pretty decent, but the other two especially, having to step up, play a bigger part, play a much more important role going forward. For the number 10, though, missing Madders basically the whole season, near enough. I mean, August, at earliest, you can expect to see him back, and he'd have to be a medical marvel. September, October, November, December, January, February, March would be absolute earliest, and that would be an incredible return because that's 7 months. But you're talking pretty much misses the whole season, by the way, because April he might be back, but he's still going to need weeks and months to get up to speed. So he's pretty much done for the season. So getting a number 10 now is absolutely imperative to our season. We truly needs a number 10. And look, the Eze links are there. We know that. Let's keep an eye on that. But is there someone else? Obviously, yes, I know about Nico Paz. But yeah, I mean, the Mail Sports saying Spurs may still bid for Eze this summer, despite also showing interest for Savinho. Again, though, I can't see it. I've always been of the mindset of that. I always thought Kudus would be the marquee signing, right? Then the Gibbs White situation happens. That obviously falls through, and it's like, oh, then we've done nothing since then, and it's been nearly a month, or it has been a month now, and it's now Savinho, and let's say we all rate Savinho, Kudus, and Paulinho. It's still 3 signings. It feels like it's not enough when you compare losing Son, losing Madders, Kudus still out injured. Other players are probably still to leave. You look at the other teams of the bigger boys. Man United, Cunha, Sesko, and Buemo, Donnarumma, maybe even more coming. You look at Chelsea signing 8,000 players again. You look at Man City with Reinders and Cherky and Nori. And I think there's others, to be honest. I've just forgotten about them all. You look at Liverpool with Frimpong and Kirkes, Verts, Ekatike. There's that. I mean, even Arsenal with Zubamendi and Gyökeres and Madueke. It's like there's even if we were to sign Savinho, there's still a lot more work to be done. I feel like if I had to put it, let's say we sign Savinho, okay? Let's talk hypothetically here. If you sign Savinho, I still feel like Spurs need to go out and get 2 more. Now, it would have been nice to have had at least 3 players in terms of, I know they value Takai as a centre-back, but if they're still acting on the idea of let's add another centre-back, I don't know how that looks to you guys. It doesn't look as great to me. With the others being said, though, it still feels like they need to get 2 more, and that's massive for the season, especially because Spurs get 12, 13, 14 injuries every single week going forward. We need it. Left back situation is sad because if both Porro and Doggy get injured, that left back will be a weak spot versus good wingers. Madison will be next July. Decky out till Jan. Unfortunately, it's typical Spurs, only reactive, not proactive. New Son was leaving. Morgan's White was weeks ago. Mala's injury and still nothing firm yet. Whatever we get, we'll be replacing and not adding to squad. Jesus. Konstantinos from Wolfsburg be good centre back. Don't know enough about him, if I'm honest. Wolfsburg, though. You forget about Paulinho. Well, Paulinho is going to have to drop an almighty performance Wednesday night. We're going to talk about the game in just a second. I'd offered you 50 million for Super Jet. Now he's off to the Toffees. Hey, Brian, how are you? What about left back? Don't start. We're not getting a left back, and I'm fuming. Wish we went in for Osman this summer. Not as fussed about him. Just got off an early start. It's 3:30. Jesus. But look, on the game. Sorry, finishing up, them wanting a centre-back and a number 10, 2 more deals after this one. It still talks about 3 deals in a space of a few weeks. It's there's a lot still to be done. A lot still to be done. Newcastle looking to move for El Kanous as well. Again, that's another one that we're looking at as number 10, but Newcastle looking at El Kanous from Leicester. I mean, if we get Eze instead of him, I've got no problems with that. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about PSG on Wednesday night, because we've got a massive game on Wednesday night. It's Super Cup. It's another European Cup final. It's obviously a game where the top 2 in Europe, which by the way, this irks people, but it is the top 2 winning European winners facing off one-on-one to be deemed the absolute champions of Europe. No, they'll be loaning out Vuskovic. It's a game that, none of us have ever truly watched. There might be some of us that have watched previous Super Cups of Spurs, but I personally haven't. I'm 29 years old. I haven't. So I'm relishing Wednesday night. Obviously, I don't think we're going to win. I won't lie. I'm not going to sit here and say that we will, but I'm relishing it because we may never get to play another European Super Cup final. So, and I know it's mad to say, but that is the case. So I'm going to relish the day. I'm looking forward to it. I love watching PSG play, which is the irony. It's just ideally not against Tottenham. But they are somewhat weaker. I don't know what's going on in the Hakimi situation. I'm not getting involved. I'm not touching it with a 20-foot pole. I don't know if he'll play or not, but I'm not going there. I'm not touching it. If you know, you know. But they are missing 2 main players. They are missing Donnarumma in goal. Obviously, Chevalier is now in at PSG from Lille. It feels like that will be the guy starting in goal instead of, is it Safinov, the Russian backup goalie? And then João Neves is also suspended for the game. So two quite big names missing for it. Obviously, you still got Dembele and Kvara and Barcola, Desiree Doué, who should have been a Spurs player. We bottled that one. You still got Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz and Zaire Emery and Nuno Mendes and Marquinhos, and still got a wonderful squad. I know they're missing Donnarumma and missing João Neves, but let's not sugarcoat it. They are still miles the favourites, right? But cup finals are weird. Cup finals are very, very weird, and anything can happen in a cup final, especially a European Cup final. Anything can happen. And look, I don't read too much into Bayern Munich the other night. I don't think we're going to win. Okay, I'm not even going to sit here and say we're going to, but you do have a chance. And people tell you they don't have a chance. They clearly know that you can never win anything in life, or you can never lose anything in life, because they know probabilities. There's always a probability you can win. If there's a sending off, it makes your job a little bit easier. So look, I'm looking forward to that game. I think Chevalier in goal, Mendes, Pacho, who got linked to Spurs, Marquinhos, don't know what's going on at right back. I mean, it might be Zaire Emery playing at right back, and then they might drop a midfielder in. Desiree Doué may play in the midfield, to be honest. That wouldn't shock me. And then they play Barcola on the right. It's not bad, is it? Dropping it. Oh, just drop Barcola in on the right. Oh, will you now? Will you now? Must be nice. Must be nice. But no, I think, they'll probably go Zaire at right back. Vitinha, Fabian, Desiree Doué, and then your front three would be Kvara, Dembele, and Barcola. And it's a very, very great 11, and one that, if you're not careful, could hit you for 3 or 4 very, very quickly. They've done it look what they did to Inter Milan in the final of the Champions League. Dismantled and embarrassed Inter Milan. It's crazy. Let's draw and go to penalties. Watch both teams play against each other. We have Bilbao. We can have it again. Slanky and Doggy in the team. Supposedly been included in the squad, so they must be close or thereabouts. Maybe we could do a Palace, bit unrelated. Do you have an FPL league for this season? I personally don't. I did about 1 week of FPL last season, mate, and I never looked at it ever again, to be honest. So I haven't. Plus, I've been way too busy with work. I mean, it's rare that I even go live, to be honest, at the moment, because I'm so busy. So, yeah, sorry about that one, mate. Bayern, we were jet lagged, not many train sessions in between. 5-0. Steve says 5-0, so that's not true. Got to be strong for the first 45 minutes. Big up 4-1 Spurs win is never in doubt. Love it, Faz. Look, I'm going to say it's going to be 3-1 PSG, is my guess. Cup finals is a weird thing, though, and it's not me being negative. I think it's just me more realistic. You're talking about the best team in world football. I don't read into Club World Cup games against Chelsea and things like that, because Chelsea are the 4th best team in England. So I don't really read into that too much. But for Spurs, massive game. Massive game to show, even if you lose, it's showing where you're at in terms of this journey that you're on. There's been a stop in the train. Ange has gotten off the train. Thomas Frank's gotten on the train. Where that, other Sonny's got off the train and so on and so forth. But, if you're having any chance on Wednesday night, it's, Christian Romero showing that, yeah, okay, I'm still a fantastic centre-back. And Mickey van der Ven and Romero being brilliant, Pedro Porro being great on the ball. And, he's going to have to stand up sometimes one-on-one with Kvara running at him. And, if Destiny's fit, then look, got Barcola, or you might have Kvara at times running you on the right wing, and Destiny. If Destiny's Destiny, then I have faith that he can stand up. If not, then it's Jed Spence, and actually Spence as a one-on-one defender is pretty damn good. So there's that. Vic's gonna have to have a game where he's gonna have to have one of those games where he just seems to stop everything. And Vic is more than capable of that. I see a lot of Spurs fans crapping on him for some reason. I don't really truly understand why, but he has the ability in him to do that. Paulinho, I know, has only just joined, but Bentancur is going to have one of those games where everyone kind of goes, he could still be, a top centre mid, and so on and so forth. And the other centre mid's going to be interesting. Will they go the Pape Matar Sarr route? Will they go the Lucas Bergvall route? I haven't seen a lot of Lucas Bergvall this summer, where I've been mightily impressed with him, which is a bit peculiar. I love Lucas Bergvall. I think he's going to be a fantastic footballer. I just haven't seen it. Whereas Sarr's had a really good preseason. I feel like Sarr's going to be starting. And then in the attack, you think Kudus is going to be starting. It feels like Johnson will start. And Solanke can go. Solanke starts. We're going to have to be good at holding up the ball, winning some cheeky little fouls. Kudus against Nuno Mendes is one hell of a combo, by the way. That just do you know what? Every other player on the pitch, just get off the pitch, throw a football down to those two, and just go play. Because I'd love to watch those two go at it. You're talking about, in my opinion, the best left back in the world in Nuno Mendes. And look, I don't need Kudus to score assists, and sometimes that's my problem with him. Just let him run at him all game, and and just let those two go back and forth. I think it'd be fantastic watch. It'd be great for the neutral on that side of things. But it's a game that we would have needed Maddison, in my opinion, on Wednesday, and it's a shame we won't have him. And it's a shame we won't have impactful players like Sonny and Kulu. I get it, and you're missing 3 of your better attackers, but it's an opportunity. And the way we should always look at it is glass half full. There's an opportunity for someone else to step up and do their thing. Is it Matisse Tell? Is it Wilson Odobert? That sort of French connection against obviously the best team in France. Is that sort of on them to say, actually, I want to play, I want to show them what's about, no player playing in that team is going to be bad for them. But Nuno Mendes at left back, world's best left back, or a makeshift right back if Hakimi's not playing. You know where you're sort of going to be facing. You know what you're going to be attacking, and that's not a dig at Zaire Emery, who is a fantastic footballer, an amazing footballer, but he's also a central midfielder playing at right back. So that's what I think, at least. I mean, let me have a quick look at PSG. Have they played any games, or is this their first game back? This is their first game in a month. The last time they played was the 13th of July, where they lost to Chelsea. And then months after that, 1 month after that, directly a month after that, they had played their first game against Spurs. Now that's fascinating. I didn't notice that. So having had no pre-season football, unless the Club World Cup was a month ago, so unless you're counting that, they've had no like warm-up games. And obviously they maybe have some behind closed doors games, but whereas Spurs, I know, have played some games. I mean, they've played Arsenal, they've played Newcastle, they've played Bayern Munich. They've played some pretty decent teams. In terms of being tuned up, you'd think they are. I mean, I think they're there now already, which where is this final being played? It doesn't say that. Hang on. Where is the Super Cup final 2025? Udine in. Do you know what? I don't even. What is it? Udinese we're talking about? Hang on. I need to not look like an idiot. Yeah, yeah. It's in Italy. I was right. I just didn't want to go out there on the limb and make myself look like an idiot. It's in Italy. You'd think jet lag wouldn't be a big thing, to be honest. It's a couple of hours on the plane sort of thing. Any word on the captaincy, I expect it to be Romero. If we don't get a 10 before the transfer windows, how well do you think we'll play until we get Kulu on a mother's back? I don't think we'd be very good. That's because we need a 10. If we win, we ain't going to let those bottlers down the road live. Champions of Europe, they'll never sing that. Well, we already are, to be fair, champions of Europe. So, Frank doesn't like any of the younger players, given the loan regime and the implications of the loans by age. Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's that he doesn't like the youth. I just think he values playing time. And if he can't guarantee the playing time, you're better off getting them out on loan, getting them, 90 minutes week in, week out. And I sort of understand it. I know for us, some of us go, oh, it'd be great to get, so-and-so comfortable. It'd be great to get so-and-so some minutes. But also, the same part of me kind of goes, God, can you imagine Mikey Moore playing week in, week out in the SBL? Can you imagine Jamie Donnelly playing week in, week out in the Championship? Obviously he gets an assist on his debut, which is fantastic for Stoke. Is Ashley Phillips going to get another season, 90-minute football week in, week out? Vuskovic, Lancashire. It's an opportunity really for a lot of those players to play week in, week out football, which is way better development than sitting on the bench of Spurs. So I don't mind it as much. They're on a mandatory vacation. I tell you what, I wish my employers had to say it's a mandatory vacation. Be all right. I think fans will be surprised. Slanky brace, then pens, and we win on pens. Okay. Well, I'm going to get your score predictions all in a second. Going to be a spaghetti Western classic. It looks like the tail end. No Donnarumma should help. Chevalier is not a bad keeper, to be fair. Not a bad keeper, Chevalier. Loans have been positive season. Do you think it's better to keep Vuskovic? It depends on what you're doing. Because if they want to add a centre back in, then Vuskovic getting week in, week out football in like the Bundesliga, I don't think is a bad thing for anyone, including him, including us, including the team we're going to loan him to. So there you have it. Let's get it then. I want to know your score predictions. Tell me what the score prediction is, who for, and if you want to tell me your goal scorers, by all means, tell me your goal scorers. I think Spurs, like I said, I think PSG are going to win this 3-1. I just think they are a tier above us in football. I think Kudus will be actually our goal scorer. And I know I've kind of been a guy that's not been the biggest Kudus fan. I think Kudus will score because I think he's going to have to do something special for us to get on the score sheet. And he's going to try some crazy things. He's going to drive us all a little bit insane. He's going to give the ball away a few times, and then we'll be 2-0 down or 3-0 down, and he'll score. But I think it'll be a PSG win. They're a juggernaut unto themselves, and Dembele's a Ballon d'Or. Dembele should win the Ballon d'Or, by the way. There should be no conversation about anyone else. We're talking about a team that won what, a quadruple? You know what I mean? Like, Dembele should win the Ballon d'Or. Is he top goal scorer in Europe or something like that as well? Something ridiculous. There should be no conversations about Rafinha or Yamal or anyone else. It should be Dembele. And he was fantastic last season. Big games, scored big goals, and that's someone that we're gonna have to keep quiet. And if it means Romero sending him into row Z, then Romero sends him into row Z, and that's the way we go about it. He's gonna have to be magical, by the way, Romero. Really, really do think Romero is gonna have to have one of those proper games. And we'll be here for it. I'll be here for Romero dropping another 10 out of 10. I'm getting used to him. They happen more often than not. You thinking a draw to get both? Okay. Even Daniel, maybe losing extra time. There's no extra time. All I know is there's going to be a show and Tottenham Hotspur will be there. Callum Roach reckons 4-2 Spurs. A late brace for Johnson. Honestly, I'm going to say is Nuno Mendes has been fantastic against some of the world's best right wingers. I swear to God, if Johnson scores at the back post, I won't live it down. We could lose 8-1 and I won't live it down. That bloody Johnson is the guy that dunks on him. I haven't seen anyone else do it to him, properly at least. And Jono goes out there and just does it in a random game. My goat. Romero's 10 out of 10 or red card. Romero's disciplinary record is much better than everyone thinks, by the way. His disciplinary record is actually quite good. We'll lose, sadly, 4-2 PSG. 0-0, 5-0 on pens. You can't win 5-0 on pens, unfortunately, Steve. You can't. Can't get there. I just think PSG are going to win. Now, if Spurs were to have a chance of winning it, you would need magical performances. You're going to need that midfield battle, by the way. Like, as much as I sit here and go, fullback's going to be massive and the defense will have to be massive, and Mickey's going to have to be making some last line blocks and things like that. I think that midfield's crucial. And actually, it's not Paulinho for me. I know people talk about the number 6. It's not Paulinho, it's Bentancur. How well do we play when he plays well? It's scary how crucial he seems to get to Spurs. Like, other midfielders can stink up the gaff, but if Bentancur plays well, we always have a chance. So I think he's going to be crucial in this game, Bentancur. Yeah, if he goes out there and drops an almighty, brilliant performance. Game bloody on is all I'm going to say. Game bloody on. So, yeah, why not? Summer fruit squash time. Callum Roach, you bloody know it, Chief. I haven't got summer fruit squash with me. I'm still drinking it. Don't worry. And if we win, I will be absolutely doing it. My brother brought me back Uzo from Italy, and not Italy, from Greece, sorry, at 42% volume of alcohol. That's going to knock your socks off, I tell you that. Look, much more than a summer fruit squash ever could. I want Spurs to win, but no number 10 and no creativity. 3-1 PSG. I've gone 3-1 PSG. I don't think it's a situation Spurs have no chance, not at all. But it's just, you're talking about a juggernaut with incredible players. There just needs to be 2 or 3 players that just have a phenomenal performance. And I think it will be Romero, Bentancur, and an attacker. Get the spine of the team. One in every line. If they absolutely turn up and turn out and play well, game on is all I will say. But if we only get one of them, it's a loss. If we get 2 of them, it's still a loss, but you never know. If you get 3 of them, I feel there is a bit of a game to have here. Still think PSG probably win it, but you got a hell of a chance if that's the case, you know. Nice bit of wobbly aniseed juice. You know it. You know it. PSG seems to be at the peak of their current cycle as well. I'm missing Ange. It was good to see videos of Ange today. Looks happy. You lot are being too modest. Spurs 9-1. Darren, if we win 9-1, mate, I will buy you so many beers. Like, so many. Mark my words, 5-0 PSG. Mark this. I'm not marking it. I've said they were going to win 3-1. I don't even want to mark that. Why have we not renewed Bentancur contract yet? I don't know. I feel like a lot of contracts are going to get renewed post-transfer window. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I mean, Spencer's getting sorted. Yeah, why can't they sort another one, you know? Why can't they sort another one? Right, let's have a quick look. Semi-creative summer fruit squash if we win 9-1. If we win 9-1, I'll do a lot of things. No, just looking, there's no there's no news. I thought there might be. There's none. When you're pouring Kudus to create chances, yeah, absolutely. Do you know? Do you expect Richie to score for us? No one will be destroyed. That the reality. I don't know what you mean, Chief. I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean. But there you go. It'd be an easy 10-0 to Spurs. Johnson at the back post all game. We will be there. We will be there. I tell you what. If he scores the winner again, like he did only a few months ago in the Europa League final, if he scores a winner again, he's coming up on here. I'll put him up on there. I'm going to get a shirt. I'll get his name on the back, and he'll sit up there. All right? How about that? That's the deal. If he do you know, if he scores and we win, I'll still do it. If he scores the winner, it's absolutely getting done, hands down. He's going up there. He can sit with Gareth Bale. He can sit with Tom Brady. Hell of a combo, those three. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I won't lie, but I'll get his shirt and I'll get it up there. Promise. That is a promise you can bank on. But look, thank you all so much for joining me this evening. Please go and enjoy the rest of your evenings. Look after yourselves. Take care. I'm obviously not going to be live now for a few days. I might go live after the game, though, on Wednesday, a little bit later, because I think I'll be home to watch it. But please look after yourselves. Take care. Back later in this week. And hopefully Spurs do the business. Do the business Wednesday night. Why not? Take care of yourselves. See you later. Peace.